Hello, I'm Steve Crossan. I'm the Director of the Cultural Institute at Google in Paris, and we're going to be talking about what is the Cultural Institute. We have a fancy name, but what do we really do? We're going to be showing some interesting demos of some stuff that we've already done and giving a little bit of a hint about what's to come in the future.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Steve Crossan. I'm the head of the Cultural Institute at Google, which was set up in April this year in Paris. This is not where we are right now, but this is where we will be in a few months' time, a building in the Rue de Londres that we're currently in the middle of checking out. And this, in fact, is not just us. We're not quite that grand. This is the whole of the headquarters for Google for Southern and Eastern Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And so I'm really very briefly, because we're short of time, I'm going to talk about what is the Cultural Institute, extremely briefly, and then I'm going to pass the microphone to my esteemed colleague Amit Sood, who is going to talk specifically about the Google Art project in the same context. So the most important thing about the Google Cultural Institute is we have a fancy name, but basically we're a group of engineers. And this is the group of engineers that we are. That's the most important thing to remember. We're an investment by Google in engineering, and what we're building is tools and services for the cultural sector, for institutions, for archives, for curators, for historians, to help them to get the material that they want to get to online in a very emotional and engaging way. That's what we were set up to do. So that's our essential nature. What do we do? Just in September, we're doing a bunch of pilot projects at the moment, and just in September we built a project around the Dead Sea Scrolls with the Israel Museum of Jerusalem, and these are now available online in great detail. They're zoomable. You can search for the text. You can search for your favorite quotes from Isaiah, and it will take you straight into the right place in the scroll and zoom in on that. So one of the things that we're about is about bringing material online which hasn't been available online before, and we're also very much trying to experiment with what's the best way to view this material online, because it's not always obvious what the right way to interact with material is in a way that's emotionally engaging to users. On that note, one of the things that we're exploring is the new interfaces that are available on the web. I'm just going to show you this in short video form. This comes from a thought of, what if all the books in the world were available literally in a virtual library? And this is something that's using the latest technology available in Google Chrome. There's no music, and it's very short. So this is all just running in a browser on your desktop. You might have missed it very quickly in the video, but there was a QR code there, and with the QR code, with your tablet or your phone, you're able to actually get to a book yourself and download it onto your phone if the content is open, or to buy it if it's available for sale. Another example of experimentation with interfaces. We launched, this is a project driven by ZDF in Germany, which we were happy to help them with, and prefigures actually our main thrust of projects for 2012. This is a project around German history in the 20th century, and particularly around first-person memory and testimony of German history in the 20th century. It's called Memory of a Nation. This is really a big focus for us in 2012, is on bringing together archival material from archival partners, as well as eyewitness material from people who have lived history, and putting those together in an online experience. Finally, we also have a physical space which we are developing in the Rue de Londres building. And in that physical space, we're essentially trying to ask the question, a lot of the work that we do is about taking material that has traditionally been seen and experienced in very physical contexts. You go to a particular museum, you go to an archive, you interact with physical objects, and we're we're working on, what are the experiences that make sense in a virtual world around that same material. In our physical space, we're sort of asking the reverse of that question. In a virtual world, what should one do with a physical space around the exploration of culture? And so we have some exciting things in the pipeline there, which will be, the space there will be opening in April, May of 2012. And we hope we'll see some of you there. With that, I'm simply going to pass over to Amit, who's going to talk in more detail about the Google Art project, give you a little bit of the context about where that project came from and how that now also relates to the Cultural Institute.
Merci beaucoup, Steve. Je m'appelle Amit. J'ai travaillé à Londres pour Google. Je parle no French, so I will switch now to English. But I was told to at least attempt, so I attempted. I am learning French, so let's see where that goes. So what am I going to show you? I'm going to show you something today. So this is a project that started around 2 years ago by a group of people in Google, not just me. I had another job in Google. I was looking after Android, a very, very serious, mobile system, marketing partnership. But Google allows you to work for 20% on Saturday and Sunday on projects you like. So for me, for 2 years, my Saturdays and Sundays were about art. And I worked with my team to come up with an idea that works for the museums, user, and Google. So we'll show you a little bit of that. So these are the 17 museums, a few names. It's the Hermitage, MoMA, Met, Uffizi, Versailles, my favorite, and many others. And so I will show you now what's special. You must notice something. This does not look like a Google website, and that is intentional. The idea is really to focus on the museum and the art. So let's start with I'm going to go to New York. And I will come back to Italy and Russia. So it's one of my favorite paintings in the world. It's The Harvesters by Peter Bruegel. Now, this is a very beautiful painting. There are many images of it online. You can go to the Met and view this painting. But here is what's special. Using a technology called gigapixel, we very easily allow users to start zooming in at very, very simple, high speed. You can be on a normal connection and it'll still work, and start seeing details in the painting. So let's, really get in. So, for example, my favorite part is the expression of this man. And you can see, he's interested in this demo as well. So, I mean, if you know about Peter Bruegel and if you understand, how he would make these type of paintings, it's really interesting. But if you don't know much about him, you can find out using the info panel, where you can have media, where you can play videos directly into the browser.
As director of the Metropolitan Museum, why is this painting so important to you?
The Metropolitan has tens of thousands of works of art spanning 5,000 years of human creativity, but I think there are certain key pieces that stand out.
Okay, you can listen to that in your own privacy. So now I just want to show you very quickly, if I can just try to use this amazing computer. Yeah. All right. So let's start really getting into the details. Okay. Let's go here. It's one of my favorite places. You notice a game, and I didn't really know much about this game, and I found out from the Met what it was. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but it involves hitting a goose with a stick on Shrove Tuesday, and it used to be played in the medieval times. And if you want to really see how the goose feels, maybe here he is, or she, or wherever. That's the goose, that's the stick, about to hit the goose, and let's go even deeper, and that's it. But now comes the important part. Yes, you can go deep, Should you go deep? I don't know, that's not my job. I'm not an art critic, historian, education, nothing. I'm just providing a service, because now when you've seen that detail, let's get out and see where you were really in the painting in a very slow, easy manner. Now that is the impact you can get with this type of technology. Thank you. We can save the claps for the end because there is some more cool stuff to show. So now, obviously, this is great. It's all good. Let's see the museum. You click, and you're in the Metropolitan. You navigate with the floor plan. Now, this is using our Street View technology, so I had some very good friends in the Street View team, and I asked them, hey, you're doing with the cars on the roads. Can we do with the museum, if you don't mind? And the engineers in Street View are fantastic, and they built a prototype for us to take to the museums. So here, very simply, you can jump around the rooms of the Met, zoom in, walk around, get perspective, and really enjoy the museum. You can never, ever use this as a reason not to visit the museum, but it increases your desire. And I will come to why we did this, because I know there are a lot of skeptical faces about Google in this room, so I will try to address that in a second. So anyways, this is the idea. I'm just going to show you, since you guys seem to like the gigapixel aspect, I will show you the image from Versailles. And you notice this is not an application. This is just a browser, and it's that fast and that simple. So again, you can navigate the floor plan here. We're in the Hall of Mirrors. You can jump down. This is my favorite part, to the end. Really get an understanding. And let's go to the Marie Antoinette, which our lovely partners at Versailles gave us to do the gigapixel. Let's zoom out, yeah. So again, fantastic painting, and what I love about this painting are the eyes. I think everyone loves different things. Well, not the nose. Yes. So, now when we get out again, and of course, you are not just seeing this as a joke. There is information on the right side panel. We just don't have time. I don't want to read all the text. But, the idea is not just a gimmick. It's also to provide the context of why you're seeing this detail. And now let's just quickly zoom out. Perfect. So I think I've given you, the high-level ideas. I'm going to show you one more feature, and then I will get into why we did the project very quickly. So you have these amazing museums, all 17. You have, MoMA, and there is some great work here. We have the Starry Night in Gigapixel. And let's say I like this detail, and I want to talk about it. Let's get into the actual canvas and see the brush, which is my favorite part. Yeah, okay. So now I like this particular area, and I can create a collection, my own view of what I liked about this. Very simply, add artwork to collection. You write something, it's a French keyboard, so I will just do this, all right? You can save it. And essentially, you can then, this is the important thing. We do not cut the image. The image is not cut. You can share this detail, but when you share it, you will always be able to go back with your sharing. And here you have the options to share collection, and you can share. So I will just show you very quickly my favorite collection, which I usually show to people. It's called The Power of Zoom. I like Zoom. It's of the paintings that are in the project. So this is a fantastic detail in a painting called The Apparition of Christ at the State Tretyakov Gallery in Moscow. And once again, you can go much deeper and you can get out. And always you have the context of what you're seeing, which is really important. So like this, we have the ambassadors, we have some Rembrandts, Van Goghs, blah, blah, blah. So now let's come to this. Okay, we are done with what it is. You've seen the demo. Why did we do the project? Okay, I'm going to try to do this very, very quick. The project started out of passion, not out of corporate strategy. That's very important to establish. But what happened with the project is after we launched it, it got a lot of support from Googlers internally who said, okay, this is fantastic, we have to do more. And there are 3 very important reasons why I personally did it. There were 4 people in the team, a Spanish girl, a British girl, an American engineer, and an Indian man. So this is the multicultural world where we could, come together to do this, and they actually taught me a lot about this stuff. So, for me, it is all about access. And access to information is critical, especially as we expand more and more ideas. Small example, I'm Indian, I love India, I've had a lot of great cultural experiences in India, but as a young student growing up in India, it is not possible to just wake up one morning and decide to go to a museum. You are so lucky you do not realize it. This is something I tell all my European and American friends, that the fact that museums are free, the fact that you can just walk up and just go into one of them, this doesn't happen in other countries. And how can we allow these countries and these people to also have this access? So that was my personal motivation. I'm not telling you that's why Google did it, but that was my personal motivation, to provide this access. The next picture, I'm giving you the reasons of all the team, why the team did it. What does this mean? This means Anna and Clara, who were in the Spanish and the UK girl, they wanted to create new audiences, right? So yes, you all are really great and everything's cool, but what about the young children? What about people who just want to maybe sit at home to get an idea of what they might get before they actually go? So how can we take art and museums and reduce the snob value? It's not only for high society. Right? Anybody should be able to go to these places and have a great time. And these type of projects allow it because everyone's on the net and everyone's doing stuff on the net all the time. The last reason, it's an image again. The last reason is simple. It's immersive experience. So yes, you can have a book, you can have a lovely, curatorial, response to a painting, but you also want something exciting. Now, maybe some people don't agree with that. Maybe some people feel we should not zoom into paintings. That's not what the artist wanted. But who knows what the artist wanted, right? So it is, I think, our duty to create immersive experiences where relevant. And one thing I must mention is that we do not curate any of it. The museums decide everything. So you can ask Versailles. I did not ask them to give me Marie Antoinette. They gave, it was very nice. But they decide everything. We only provide the platform. Are we? Okay. So I have to finish, but these are the quick numbers. Since launch, we have had 25 million people visit the website. We have had over 100,000 users create their own collections from all over the world. The traffic is coming from India, from China, from Latin America, a lot from Europe, from the United States, and there are a couple of other things. So that's pretty much, and where to next? That's a good question. Keep your eyes open in the next 6 months for some very, very exciting stuff that's going to happen on googleartproject.com. Thank you.